Everybody, hope you're doing well. Today we are going to be doing a short, quick little video on how to get your Node.js applications up and running on whatever web server you prefer. So obviously we're using React here with Google Cloud. You could, use if you had your own private web server, if you wanted to use the school's web servers, basically anywhere you want to put it, you want to take your local development environment, make a build, and push that build wherever it needs to go. And the really nice thing about how we're doing it here in class, with React and Node.js is that our output is going to be a series of just pure static HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we don't need anything special on the web server side, on the production side, right? We don't necessarily need our build chain, our build environment, any of that. We just need the built files to go up on the internet. So what I am going to be doing here, so I've got my VS Code window. I am in the suspense directory. Suspense was one of the more recent demos I was playing with, so that's what we get here. I've got a Google Cloud virtual machine up and running. I SSH'd in. So basically, everything that you probably have done so far, I've kind of got going on here. So this is, I want to say, a basic micro instance too. Again, just straight HTML, don't need anything fancy. Just Apache, basically. Okay, so just to give you a feeling for what we've got going on here, npm start. This is going to go ahead and kick off our local dev server. This is just me testing that the application works, not that, nothing to do with the build here. So loading with suspense. Hello, good to see. Localhost is running. Everything's good. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my server. Okay, when you first start up npm start, you actually get this notice here, npm run build to create a production build. That's exactly what we want to do. npm run build. And what this is going to do then is it's going to go through your package.json. It's going to figure out what needs to be built. So, by default, we're just going to get kind of the standard build outputs. You could add on whatever you wanted in there. You could add on, a testing tool chain as well. But basically, we get this nice build folder, which is ready to be deployed. So I'm not sure why it's not updating in here. I just clicked refresh to make it pop up. I now have this build directory, right? And in here is everything that we need to upload to our website. So you see some static assets. There's our style sheets, our JavaScript, our fav icon if you wanted to update that. Here's the web page, little text file to handle web crawlers, searchers, and all that, some logos, all that fun stuff. So basically, what we're doing here is we're just going to zip up the static directory, or sorry, the build directory, upload that to Google Cloud, and then unzip it, and we are pretty much done. Okay, so I am in here, so I see my build directory, so ls build. Let me make this a touch bigger for you all. Terminal a little bigger here too, and just some finicking here. All right, clear. ls build. All right, so I'm going to go into the build directory. You could zip it up however you want. I'm going to use tar. You can use zip, WinRAR, 7-zip, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to use the Linux tools here. I'm also going to do it just right from inside of the directory, just so that when I unzip it, it kind of unzips en masse. I could zip up the build directory, and then I would have a build directory wherever I load it. I could, mess with folders based on whatever flag I give the archiver, but I'm just going to package up the files themselves. I'll talk about some issues in a few moments. So tar-ccvf suspense.tar.gz, and I want to upload or archive everything. All right. So if you're not familiar, tar is going to archive, which is basically just putting them all into a file. I'm also adding on a flab to run the gzip algorithm, which compresses it, and then we get this tar.gz file. Okay, so if I ls again, here's my thing I need to upload. Great, so over to Google Cloud here, I want to upload file, okay, and see, no, Linux, Ubuntu, this is just my mess of a directory here, and 658 demos, suspense, build, suspense, there we go. Okay, so that's going to go up. Of course, get kicked out of my SSH session. Delightful. I have been having all kinds of issues with SSH, not with Google Cloud recently, but with other systems. It's a good time. Okay, please come back. All right. Did it go up? Did not. Upload. Choose. Suspense. All right. It is now in my home directory, so we see it right here. I'm going to go ahead and go to my web directory now. So var www.html. I'm going to create a suspense directory, suspense app. Just making a subfolder, you could do however you want. Obviously, you can make a virtual host, you could just make another folder, drop it right in the root, doesn't really matter. The one thing that I will mention though is if based on how I zipped this up, it is just going to unzip it wherever you put it. So if I were to unzip this right in my root of my web directory, it would overwrite the default HTML. I don't want that behavior, right? So I'm going to make a directory, move the archive in there, unarchive it, unzip it, and then my files will be in the subdirectory. Again, there are a million ways you could do this, even with tar. You could create a directory while unzipping it and all that fun stuff. All right, so I am now in the suspense app directory. I'm going to go ahead and move my archive to where I currently am. So tilde for my home directory. There's the original file. Here's the current directory. I forgot I have to sudo this because we are in the HTML directory and I did not update the permissions on this machine. Okay, so if I ls now, here's my file, and now sudo tar-zxvf x to unzip. Need to tell it what I want to unzip. Okay, or sorry, unzip and unarchive. My file. Oh my gosh, no backslash. There we go. Okay, so 3 typos. ls. Here is everything I need for a website. Now, if I were to go over to my IP address here, okay, should see the Ubuntu page, right? That's my main index. And if I go to /suspense-app, here is my suspense application. And what are we missing? Oh, ha-ho, ha-ha-ho, I forgot. Yes, there is a step that I forgot, shaking my finger at you because it's me that's being the silly one here. If you're watching this and you know what I did wrong, please don't yell too loudly. We have to go back to our package.json file. Okay, so silly, silly me. I need to add on homepage, and it is /suspense-app. Okay, so I forgot with React, there is a step where I need to tell it what the absolute or relative/absolute path is of my application with this homepage designator. So by default, React is going to think we are just at the root of the file system. So let me show you here on Google Cloud what I mean. I'm going to go back to so I'm right now in the root of my web directory. So this is where my Apache page is. I'm going to back up my index.html just because, it'd be nice. And then let's copy our suspense. Oh, you know what? Sudo cp, I put it in suspense app. Okay, so I've got it here. So now let's unarchive my suspense application. All right, so basically all I did was I copied that tar.gz into the root of my web directory, unarchived it there, and now I've got that exact same folder structure here as well as in the suspense app. So if I were to go ahead and get out of dev mode here, so if we go to the root of our website now and we do a hard refresh, it works just fine. Oh my goodness, why is this? Well, again, this is the root of my web app, so it's considering it to be the /, root of the application. When I go to a subfolder, it's also working. Okay. I know. Okay, sorry. I don't know if I zipped through this or not, but all of these assets now exist in the root of the web directory, so everything's going to be fine. All right, so let's get rid of all of this stuff. So all of our .json, all of our .txt, let's get rid of the static directory. Let's get rid of all the PNGs. Do a recursive delete. Remove the fave icon. Yeah, okay. This should now not work. Good. Okay, I was going insane for a minute there. So I'm going to leave that in just so that you can see what happened. Basically, just to kind of paint the picture, I should have like a whiteboard here or something. Um, the React app is looking at the root of the web server. And when I went to the Suspense app link, right now we see it's not working. None of these resources are being found because they are no longer in the root of my web server. If I put all those files back, it would technically work because it's looking at the root of the server, not the current directory. Anyway, enough said. So if you just want the root of your website, build it like I showed you, npm run build will run fine. If you want it in a subfolder, you need this home page and then tell it where the application is going to be. And I can't remember if this slash needs to be there or not. I'm 99% certain it does. So let's go ahead and run our build again. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to create my archive, upload it, that fun stuff. And I will give it a different name just so that we can have a different name. So then tar-zcvf suspense2.tar.gz, archive everything, goes into that file. We're going to upload the new one, suspense2. Okay, now I'm gonna make a new directory just like before, sudo mkdir suspense, what did I call it? What was my home page? Because this is important, this has to match, suspense-app. Okay, so let's go into suspense-app, remove everything. Okay. So just deleting all the files in this because this directory is now very important. I'm going to go ahead, move the one from my directory that I uploaded. Okay, let me clear this out so we can see a nice fresh view. All right, I am in the suspense app directory, nothing in here. I'm going to move my archive from the root of my user account to the current location. We're going to unzip it. And now we refresh. Let's get out of response. Let's leave it in responsive mode. This should now work. There we go. Okay, so my dithering on with problems, I'm going to leave in just to show you like what's going on. The key takeaway though, if you want to skip to this part, make a build, npm run build, archive or zip up your files in the build directory, upload them to your web server, extract them to that web server's location where you're hosting files from, you're done. If it needs to be in a subdirectory, you need to add on that homepage tag into the package.json, and that directory has to match wherever you are putting it. Okay, if you are doing a virtual host, it's just going to technically be the root of that location. So if you put it in like var www suspense app or something like that instead of var www html, it should be fine with the default build. Anyway, hope this was useful. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing, but I will also drop some text in the description to help you out there. Anyway, have a great day. See you next time. Bye, everybody.